students, myself Miss Rachna Jain, Associate Professor, Department of English, Government PG College, Rajgarh, Alwar. Today in this video lecture, I am going to explain you the poem Earthen Pots, which is in the syllabus of BA Part 3rd English Literature, Paper 1st, Unit B. This is my 4th video lecture on this topic. Students, this is the next stanza of the poem Earthen Pots. In the first previous video lecture, I have explained you the first stanza of this poem. First of all, I read the lines. Those who from golden goblets drink red wine may dismiss us in contempt and extreme scorn, for we are made for the poor simple folk. We are cheap and may easily break. True, yet we are good enough to store the blessed gift of earth, water, clear and pure, within our hold unpolluted. Though we are mere earthen pots, even our makers do not know where tomorrow we shall be. Now, first of all, I explain you the simple meaning of the words mentioned in the text. Goblets. Goblets means glass or metal drinking vessel for wine, but no handles. Contempt. Contempt means hatred. Scorn. Scorn means the feeling that something is worthless. Folk means common people. Unpolluted means free from all kinds of pollution or pure. Students, now I give you the reference with context of these lines. These lines have been taken from the poem Earthen Pots, composed by the famous Malayalam poet O.N.V. Kurup. This poem is translated from Malayalam into English by K. Sridharan Nair. In this poem, the poet has used the symbol of earthen pots to talk about individuals who are seen as merely a mass and as lacking any significant value in themselves. In these lines, the poet wrote about 2 earthen pots only, but here he describes hundreds of them who do not know their future, and even the potters who made them do not know their future. Those who from golden goblets drink red wine. Here the poet says those means so many people. So there are so many people who drink red wine, means costly red wine, in the very expensive goblets or the glass of metal which are used for drinking wine. There are so many people who are very rich and who use golden goblets to drink red wine in them. Such people may dismiss us in contempt and extreme. These people who use these costly goblets for drinking wine, look at these simple earthen pots which are made of mud with great scorn and hatred. And the reason is that we are made for the pure simple folk. because these earthen pots are made for the poor and the simple people. They are made of mud. We are cheap and may easily break. And they are made of mud, so they are very cheap and very easily breakable. So rich people hate these earthen pots because they drink red wine in very costly and expensive golden goblets, and because of this they hate these earthen pots as they are very cheap and very easily breakable. True. True means it is fact, it is true that these earthen pots are made of mud, so they are very cheap, simple and breakable. But we are good enough to store the blessed gift of earth water, clear and pure, within our hold, unpolluted. Although this is fact that they are very cheap and very easily breakable, but still it is also fact that these earthen pots store pure, clear and unpolluted water, which is the greatest gift of Mother Earth. They do not contain the expensive red wine, but they contain the most expensive thing, that is water, in them. Though we are mere earthen pots, so they are proud of to be earthen pots, as they contain the very valuable thing, water, in them. Even our makers do not know where tomorrow we shall be. These earthen pots and even the potter who made these earthen pots do not know about the ultimate fate of these pots. What will happen to them in tomorrow, they don't know. Even the potters who made them doesn't know what will be their future or what will be their fate. It is a matter of great sorrow. Such is the fact of human life. Hundreds like us who are crowded here, the poet tells about the earthen pots, that not only two earthen pots, but numberless earthen pots, hundreds means numberless, numerous, numberless earthen pots are lying in the potter's yard and waiting for some unknown buyer, and they are waiting for some unknown buyer who would come to lift us up, miss, and to hold them up or pick up one by one and hold us to ear, and that unknown buyer would pick up one by one these earthen pots, hold them to his ear, and with a finger stroke quality test by the sound, and then he would stroke his finger to test the quality of the earthen pot by the sound, whether they are fit for the purpose or not. This quality test will be checked by the sound coming out from the earthen pots by the finger stroke. If satisfied, he buys one and walks away. And if the unknown buyer, satisfied by the quality of the earthen pot, then he buys it from the potter and walks away silently, followed by our sighs that bind us in one thought of woe and intense sense of loss of one who was one among us, and one of us takes hold of us. Ah, when does our turn come to depart? And when it comes, who would be the first to leave? Woe means sorrow or distress. Intense means deep. Followed by our sighs that bind us in one thought of woe. The poet says that when unknown buyer, after testing the quality of the earthen pots, purchases them and takes away, then the remaining earthen pots are filled with a deep sense of sorrow and loss of separation and of one who was one among us, and one of us takes hold of us. The rest earthen pots feel a great distress of separation, a great loss of separation from the other pots. Ah, when does our turn to come to depart? The poet says, the rest earthen pots do not know when their turn will come to depart, and when it comes, and when that moment comes, when the moment of departure comes, who would be the first to leave? It is the unknown fate of every human being which the poet wants to explain through the fate of earthen pots. Actually, the poet has equated the earthen pots to human beings. The simile holds good because the earthen pots and the human beings both are made of earth, and both do not know the value of their life, and both's fate are unknown. They do not know their future. They do not know who would depart first. So students, in these lines, the poet conveys the meaning that human beings, like the mud pots, have unknown destinies. Secondly, out of 100 earthen pots, only one at a time is bought, leaving behind the sorrowing remaining ones. They do not know who will be the first to leave now. The same thing applies to human beings. We don't know who will depart from us the next time, leaving behind others to lament for him. The poem has a hidden deeper meaning. It is written in blank verse, hence there is no rhyme scheme in it. So in the entire poem, I want to give you the gist which the poet wants to explain, that uh, he speaks about the ties that bind earthen pots together, their attachment to each other, and their sense of loss when one from them is taken away. The poet also examines the notion of their worthlessness and speculates on the possibility of unknown destinies which might just possibly include something momentous. Though the metaphor he uses is systematically and consistently that of the mud pots, he imparts greater significance to this slight topic by equating the mud pots to human lives and thus enlarging and broadening its scope. So, the poem is completed now. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.